Hi everyone, well I'm back again, and as promised I'm going to show you how to do a parrot tulip. This is one that I've already made up, and just to show you, this is a picture of the actual tulip. So if you put those side by side, there you can see what I've done. So I'll get straight on with it. And like in all cases before, I only do one of each of the parts of the flower so as not to waste time, and that way we can get on with it in a quick way. Now I'm going to start off with the stamens to start off with, for the simple reason that in my last video I said that I was going to show you how to make the pollen for these. And the way that I make the pollen, and this is the same as you buy in shops, what I do is I'm using here it's just either ground rice or semolina or ground almonds, whatever else you've got in your cupboard. Small amount in there. And then what I'm doing here, the colour I'm using for the petals on these on the tulip is a very dark brown. This one is called nut brown. So you add a bit of your powder. You'll need a small amount. Let's get rid of that. Into your pot, put your lid on, make sure you put your lid on, give it a good shake, and then you have your pollen. So you'll see that close up in a minute, and I've just spilt some on my board, so I'll better get rid of this before I do anything else. Oops, try not to spill it. Things always go wrong when I'm doing demonstrations, as I keep telling people, if I do something wrong I don't do the video again, I just carry on with it, because it just proves the point that things go wrong for professionals the same as it does with anybody else. Plus also as well, it's a good idea if you do something wrong when you're demonstrating to show students how to get out of it. Right, for the stamens I've got a 32 gauge wire here. Tiny ball of paste, we'll have half of that. Roll that into a short sausage, and then, because there's no hook on anything like this, I always put a little bit of glue on the wire just to ensure that it stays put. That goes into your piece of paste there. Roll it at the bottom, roll it at the top, and then what I do is get something like a palette knife or something like that. We'll just clean that off because that's got some, and then I'm just going to put a line up the centre of it like that. You probably won't see this when you get the pollen on, but in the actual tulips they do have a little ridge down there. So in order to do the tulips, I'm just going to get a piece of foam. I've already got all my bits and pieces on here. This is from the last video, the orchids that I did. What we do there is, I hope everybody can see what I'm doing. I think, yeah, we're in shot. I keep going out of shot, don't I? Into your glue, into your pollen, into your foam. I'm just going to do that with each of these because I haven't done any of them. I should have done some of these, shouldn't I, before I started. In actual fact, when you're doing things like this, you can use odds and ends of paste that you've got left over for bits of colour, because you're not going to see the colour on the stamens once it's into your flower. So anything like this, just use your odds and ends of paste up. It doesn't have to be white or even coloured for any reason. I'm just going to do these two together. It'll be a bit quicker. Bit difficult trying to get these wires into your foam because they've been so thin they just bend. Right, we'll just get those out of the way for now. Get rid of the glue. Get rid of those bits. You have to keep wiping your board down because if you get any powder on it, anything like this, it stains like hell. Sometimes you can't always see it, but rub a bit of white fat on if you've got any stains on it, and then that'll get that off. Right, now then, in order to do these tulips, this is the cutter that I'm using. I got these online. It does come in a set with loads of different sizes in it. The one that I showed you there, I used the big one, but I'm using a different veiner for this one. The veiner I used for the one that I've just shown you was this one. I have two that I'd bought by accident and realised I got two, and the other one is a slightly different veiner, which is this one. It does the same thing and I quite like the effect of that one. So this is the one I'm going to use. Now first of all I'm going to make the centre for the tulip, which is your pistil that goes in the centre of your flower. And I have dried one somewhere. What have I done with it? I've got it out, it's there, look. That's the pistil that goes in the centre. And how we make that is, I'm just going to use about half of that paste. If you've got any green paste left over, you could use this if you wanted for that. Right, roll that into a slice sausage. I've got a bit of brown powder on my fingers, so it's mucking my paste a little bit there. And again, because it's going to be quite thin, we're not going to put a hook on it. So that goes into the centre of your paste like that. And then roll it down your wire until you get it as thin as you want it to. It doesn't matter how long it is at this point. I'm just going to take that thick part off the top there. I'm leaving a little bit slightly off the end of the end. I'm just going to pop that in there. That wants to be about that long. So I'm going to take that bottom piece off there, thin that down, and then between your finger and your thumb just press down on the top part there just to flatten it, like when we did the lilies, and then just thin it down underneath, just so you've got that little knobble on the top there. And then if you get a pair of tweezers, what am I doing with tweezers? Oh, there they are. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this into three. So pinch that together, pinch that together, and pinch that together, like that. Unlike lilies, it's more sort of out like that, rather than just a little piece on top with the flat piece underneath it. So we'll just thin that down under there, that's it. And then put that to one side to dry. Get rid of that. Now another thing you need to do to make your petals is to make yourself a former. I haven't got a former for doing these type of things. Usually I use the foam, but what I've done this time is I've made a former using some foil. And I have a very old tablespoon that's been handed down in my family for years. All I did was put the foil into it like that, took that over the side, so you've got a nice dip in it. Okay, let's pop that to one side. Like a lot of all the tulips and things like that, they've all got 6 petals, so you need 6 of each. So you need a 26 gauge wire, which I've got one there. And I'm only going to do one of these because there's no point in doing loads of petals. And I don't know what I've got white paste now for, because I'm not doing it in white. I'm doing it in pink. I'll just get a small piece of pink out. I'm getting carried away because I do so many flowers in white and then dust them the colour that I want. But because these are quite strong colours, I've started off with the pale pink because it does show through a little bit on the flower. So roll that out. Should have put the top on me pollen there. I'm knocking it over. Just put that over there out of the way. I hope you're all finding time to have a go with these, with being in lockdown with everybody. I know that a lot of people are bored of being stuck in the house at the moment. If you're watching it while we're still in lockdown, it does give you something to do. Take your mind off other things. And at the moment my brother's in hospital after having a massive heart attack, so it helps to take my mind off of things while this is going on. I don't really need all that, but there we are. Right, so there's your cutter. So make sure that your ridge is up the centre like that. Take away your paste. And then between your first finger and your thumb, if you lay it on your first finger like that, this is the way that I do it, you can feel the wire go up in. You want the wire to go as far up as you can. So twist it into the bottom. As I said before, if you're using something like Renshaw's flour paste, make sure you put glue on your wire. If it's a sticky paste, it doesn't matter. This is Squire's Kitchen, which is quite sticky. Some of the pastes are alright. So your wire's not showing. Okay? Then into your verner. So your ridge goes down into the groove. Top of the verner on. Give it a good press. Like that. And then what I'm going to do then is, I've got my silk verning tool. And following the pattern on the petals, I'm going to roll it backwards and forwards and really frill the outside part of the petals. If you look at the picture that I showed you, where's my picture gone? What's my picture? I'll find it in a minute anyway. They are very frilly on the edge. If you haven't got one of these cutters, you can use an ordinary rose cutter, but just get a Dresden tool and just pull it out and make it all jagged on the edges. That's another way of doing a Parrot Tulip if you haven't got the cutters. There's always a way of doing it if you haven't got the right equipment. Right, so done that. So then that goes into your former. I'm using so the narrow part of the spoon's at the bottom there. I'm just going to curve this round at the bottom there and pop that into the former. You need to bend your wire a little bit so you've got a groove on it, because they curve inwards to the petals. And then I'm just going to push it up a little bit more like that, so I've got plenty of shape on it. So then I'll show you one that's dried. That's one that's dried there. So you can see I've got the slight curve on the back and it's cupping it up. So we'll just pop that on there. And I've got two petals that I'm going to do here. What have I done with my picture? I'm going daft here. I've lost my picture somewhere of my tulip that I'm copying. So I've got some petals here that I've already coloured. So that's one of them. That's an inner petal. And then this one here is the outer petals. You can see the colouring slightly different on them. This one's got green down the sides of yellow, and then this one's got pink down the centre with the yellow on the centre. They've all got this little yellow tip, but I'll go through that as I do each of the petals. So I've got some kitchen paper here. I've already got the colours on. Just get rid of that paste and put that in my paste. Always make sure you keep your paste covered up. Right, so I've got my 3 brushes here that I'm going to use for those colours. I always keep separate brushes for different colours, that way you're not mixing your colours up. So I'm going to start off with the edge of the petals, and I'm using, on this one I'm using a colour called Sunflower from Edible Art. Again, for those that haven't watched my video before, their website is Edible Art World of Colour, and you can order direct from them, or you can buy them from a sugar craft shop that stocks them. And I'm just pulling that yellow just over the back. Now it's here and there is the yellow right on the very edge. You don't really see a great deal of it, so there's no hard and fast rule as to where it goes. So you don't have to get too carried away with it, because some of that's going to be covered over with the pink on the edge as we go around there. Just make sure that whatever colour you put on, you bring it down the back of the petal as well as the front. Just get that one. Now one of those I need to yeah, on the back of this petal, this is the inner petal, I'm going to go down with the brush like that, either side of the centre of the petal, and on the outer one, then it's down the, is it down the centre? Yeah, down the centre. I'm second guessing myself here. Down the centre of it there. Right, okay, so that's the yellow finished with now. The pink, I'm using one called Cerise from Edible Art, which is a really deep, vibrant pink. I don't use it very often, but because this is quite a strong coloured tulip, I need a strong colour for it, and it's very, very bright, is this. That's why I don't use it that often, it's a bit too bright. Right, so what I'm going to do now is from the yellow, I'm going to bring from all around the petal, from the edge, taking it up so that there's just a little bit. Make sure you get right in these nicks here to make sure you get right up to the edge. It doesn't matter if you cover any of the yellow up, because as I say, it's just haphazard here and there. I don't know what the inside, I'm only guessing the inside, because on the pictures you can't see the inside, and because I haven't got any fresh flowers in the garden, I think I have got some Parrot Tulips to go flower this year. I haven't got an actual flower to look at, but if you do have a flower that you're doing, it's a good idea to get hold of a real flower and have a look at it for real. There we are. That's the pink on that one. I'll do the pink on the other one, and then we'll come back to the other bits of detail on that. If anybody's got any questions about anything, leave them in the comments below the video. And please do subscribe to my channel and have a look at my other videos. And it's free to subscribe, by the way, if anybody's thinking I'm trying to make money out of you. I'm not. But the more subscribers I've got, the better it is for me. The more my videos will get shown, and the more you'll see. And I try and do a new video every week. I've done 2 this week. This is the second one I've done this week. We've had a break over Christmas, so I thought I'd better get down and get cracking. So I'm sure that some people will be missing me, those that look at my videos on a regular basis, hopefully. And I do show them on my Facebook pages as well, hints of them, so if you're coming from there, come and subscribe as well. Right, so that's that part done. So we'll get rid of that. And then I'm going on to the green. I'm using ginkgo here, which is a colour I use quite often. You'll have seen before if you watch my videos. And on this one, oh, I've missed a bit of pink there. On this one, on the inner petal, there's pink down the centre of the petal as well. Like that. And then on this one here, the outer petal, you've got green down the side here. Need a bit more colour. No, that's not brown, wrong colour. Wrong brush. I'm getting carried away here. See what I mean about things going wrong? And I haven't got anybody here watching me to tell me because I don't have a camera person, so you actually see things firsthand. Right, and I'm just going to give it a little bit of green, the top and bottom, at the bottom of the petals, rather, just there. Most petals usually have a bit of that on them. So, the next thing then is to put the whole thing together. Now I have got some green half-width tape here. I'm using a light green. And, oh, I have missed a bit. I haven't done my centrepiece either. So, where's my green brush gone? There. I need to dust that all over with green as well. For your pistil. That's all the bits and pieces made now. I'm just looking at my time and I'm going to run out of time on this video if I carry on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go off and there will be a second video for you to see how I put it all together. So back in the next video and I'll show you how to put it all together.